Your eyes stare at me in the dark, and I hope those eyes don't steal my freedom. My freedom. Today, on my own podcast, we break down To Whom It May Concern. Hello, my friend. We meet again. Welcome to my own podcast, the only Creed podcast that we know of. My name is Andrew Colin, and with me, as always, is my co-host, the Rodrigo to my Gabriella, Reid Fenlaw. What's up, Reid?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, we're on. We're on air.
Mm-hmm.
No, you can engage a little more.
Yeah, okay.
Is something bothering you?
This might not be about you.
What
Okay.
might not be about me?
You might not be the person who this concerns.
Are you
Andrew.
trying to allude to the title of this week's song?
No, I'm speaking totally abstractly. Just you think everything is about you, and this might not concern you. You might not be whom this concerns.
Oh, that's like the title of the song. So you were alluding to the song.
Was I?
I think so.
Or am I just angry at you?
You might be angry at me.
Yeah, I might.
What did I do?
Well, you've wronged me.
Oh, yeah.
In ways that are too numerous to state. I could do an episode of a podcast for each way you've wronged me, and it would be a running anthology of a series. It would be never-ending.
The problem is it wouldn't be picked up for a second season or even a back order because it sounds really boring.
You've wronged me in some really exciting ways.
Yeah, well, put it to paper and maybe sell it.
Framed me for securities fraud through a series of international wires that you put together over the course of 6 years just to have me framed as some sort of financial sector mastermind thief. And now I'm being tried in 58 states, not all of them American states, for securities fraud, international securities fraud.
I got a question for you, Reid.
Go ahead.
What's a random pet peeve you have?
When it's sunny and raining at the same time.
Yeah, that bugs you?
Oh, I've hated that one forever. That is an easy one.
Wow, yeah, you came up with that really fast. Like, I didn't prep you for this.
No, I don't hate the rain. Like, if it's a rainy day, cloudy, overcast, great, fun to an extent.
Sure.
But it's when it's sunny and, like, really raining. I'm like, this bugs the shit out of me.
You're not okay with that dichotomy.
No, I hate it.
Make up your mind, weather.
I hate it. Why do you ask?
I was just going to share one that I have.
Okay, well, tell me.
My most random pet peeve, I think, is I get really annoyed by static cling. So, like, if I have, like, a shirt, happens a lot with non-cotton shirts that I come out of the wash and they just, like, stick and have that little, like, zippy-zappy feeling on me. Hate it. So I buy a special spray and I spray it on to get rid of any static.
You should buy a static cling spray?
Yes, I do.
Why? To use on all your burlap? Andrew wears lots of burlap.
Well, like the other episode, I was wearing a Jalen Hurts jersey from the world champion Philadelphia Eagles, but that gets really staticky, so I got to spray it down. So when I wear it, I'm not uncomfortable.
Is it because it's part poly?
Yeah, I think
Is
so.
that why?
I think so.
It's like a poly cotton blend?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
And it really bugs me.
I'm really sorry to hear that.
That's okay.
Are you okay?
Yeah, I'm good. This shirt's good. This shirt's
Okay.
all cotton.
Were you wholly uncomfortable filming that entire episode?
No, I sprayed it on before that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we're good.
Okay.
And I bring that up only because, Reid, I don't have much to say about this week's song.
Great.
So I was vamping a little bit to try to get the listener interested.
Hey, listeners, what are your random pet peeves?
Yeah, well, let's take a moment to listen.
Ooh,
Yeah, I hate
good
that
one,
too.
Good one.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's...
Well, anyway, Reid, this week's song is To Whom It May Concern. And I'm not saying that, like, you know, whoever cares about it. I'm saying, like, that's the title of the song.
Okay.
So I'm going to go ahead and take a wild guess that you don't have any preconceived conception of this song.
No, man, these, again, similar to last week's episode, these bonus tracks are pretty foreign to me.
Yes.
Pretty foreign to me.
Me as well. I don't think I'd ever heard them before we went back and listened to them for the podcast and doing our due diligence to cover every track on this album.
Which I'm not complaining. Like, it's kind of nice to discover, in quotes, a 25-year-old song by a band that you really love that has just been out there, but that you've been ignorant to for 2.5 decades. Like, that's, I don't know. It's like opening a time capsule.
I mean, you're ignorant of a lot of things, but I think what I think you're trying to get out to the listener is you should do a podcast on your favorite band. You'll discover way more songs.
I mean, that's not true.
It's not untrue.
Yeah.
So I don't think I'd heard this one until, this week or whenever we began researching the song. But yeah, there's been some fun discoveries. I mean, you really liked last week's song.
I did. That was
Young Grow Old.
That was, that's
you're banging out to that.
In the rotation now.
Yeah. So with that said, I think I'm not gonna piss around the pot anymore.
Is that just because there's no facts about this song?
Yeah.
Okay.
No, I have some.
Okay.
I just don't want to piss around the pot anymore.
Don't piss in the pot or around it, man.
No, you can piss in the pot.
Okay. Well, then start pissing in the pot.
No, I'm pissing.
Stop pissing around it. Don't piss around it.
Okay.
Piss right in it.
Okay, we're going straight into the pot.
Let's go.
Okay, so as you already probably know from researching the other song, this bonus track was released on the Human Clay Deluxe Edition. So it didn't make any appearance on the standard edition. If you went to Sam Goody in 1999, bought this bad boy, you wouldn't know it. You wouldn't have heard the song unless, I think maybe it was released in Japan. And in which case, if you're a Japanese listener, you may have heard it.
Can I just say real quick that I was much more of a Hastings person than Sam Goody?
I don't know what Hastings is.
Maybe it was only in Texas or
Oklahoma?
South. Oh no, I never lived in Oklahoma. I don't know
it's
that.
Close to Texas.
I just remember when I was in college in College Station, Texas. This is in the late 90s and early 2000s, going to Hastings to buy music. In fact, one of my roommates was a GSM, that stands for Guest Services Manager, at Hastings while I was in college.
That's cool.
Yeah, so he'd get discounts on all the best CDs.
GSM to me stands for Grenache Syrah Mourvèdre.
I'm sorry to hear that.
Yeah.
What does that mean? Is that Hebrew?
No, it's like a French wine varietals.
Oh,
yeah.
I was pretty close.
Yeah.
Like you said, I'm ignorant of a lot of things.
You'll get there, buddy.
Yeah, no, I won't.
You're learning one step at a time.
I don't want to get there.
Okay, so in addition to being on a bonus track, the song's seen a little bit of a resurgence in a way. In 2015, the Creed official YouTube page released a lyric video for the song.
Okay.
Recognition by the band that this is indeed a song.
It's a song. It exists.
Yeah. Here's where we get to the real good stuff.
Wait, did they do lyric videos for the other bonus tracks or just this one?
I didn't find one for the others, but I have to double check.
Okay.
But this one definitely had one. It appears on the soundtrack for the 2002 blockbuster sensation, The Scorpion King, starring The Rock.
I don't think I ever saw that.
Neither did I, but I went ahead and looked at the soundtrack. I don't believe it was in the movie itself, but it appears on the soundtrack. You know how they do that?
Yeah.
And that soundtrack rips. It's not only obviously has Creed, but it's got Godsmack. It's got Nickelback. It's got P.O.D., Hoobastank, Seven Dust, Rob Zombie, among others.
Hell yes.
Yeah, so go download the Scorpion King soundtrack or look it up on Spotify and rock out with your butt out.
Dude, that sounds legit.
It is.
I'm not going to lie.
Yeah.
I had no idea.
And that just lends credence to my theory. I don't know if you'll recall, but when we opened Human Clay and started looking at the songs, I said, Reed, you can go back and check the receipts, that these songs have a real video game Sand level feel. And it's in the Scorpion King movie, Sand.
I do remember you saying Sand level repeatedly.
Yes.
And me, again, being ignorant of what that meant.
Mm-hmm.
And you had to explain that to me.
And if you go and watch the Scorpion King, it's got like horrible CGI that looks like it's a video game at times.
So you've seen it?
No, I watched clips from it, though.
Okay. I feel like we should watch it together.
We should. But it's like infamously known as a movie with terrible CGI.
Yeah, but it's got The Rock.
Yeah.
Also, how good can we expect the CGI to be from 2002?
Probably better. It's pretty bad.
Oh, okay.
Well, all the Star Wars movies were like released, like the prequel trilogy, that came out in like 2000. Same time frame.
Maybe it's that I'm hearing the name The Rock and assuming it had to be a massive budget.
It was like 60 million.
That's a big budget for back
Yeah.
then. Okay. But like he wasn't as big of a global superstar yet.
He was getting into it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was still like coming out of the wrestling.
Yes.
At that point. Okay.
Yeah, but it's still really, he has like hair in it. It's very jarring to see The Rock with hair.
I don't like that.
Neither do I.
Sorry, Dwayne. We love you, but
We love you. Come on the podcast.
yeah, come on the pod.
We can't afford it, but so another fact. I saw a few articles that claim that this song has only ever been played live twice. But on the deluxe edition album, the 25th anniversary, there's a live acoustic version of this song. So that kind of calls into doubt how many times it's been played live. Like I feel like they wouldn't release a live acoustic version of this and only have ever played it one other time.
Well, when was the claim made?
2024. It was like an article from end of last year.
And then the deluxe album was the 2015 one?
I think so, yeah.
Oh. Yeah, I feel like that's probably not.
Yeah, I don't know who's really keeping track or how legitimate those like number of plays are. But either way, it's safe to say that like it definitely hasn't come up on their set lists often. I wouldn't be surprised to hear that.
It makes me wonder how it ended up on the Scorpion King soundtrack.
Yeah,
like
me
it's
too.
essentially like an American B-side.
Yeah.
Like it wasn't even released here. Yet someone who was in that film or working on the film like knew about the song and liked it enough and convinced enough other people that it should go on the soundtrack.
Well, you know what's weird is like when there's a movie that doesn't have like an official score that was written for the movie, and they just have obviously like third-party artists that play music that they put on the soundtrack, there's usually like a person who works to choreograph, like to pick the songs. Mm-hmm. And it seems like such a weird job.
Yeah.
And like doesn't really require anything.
No, you could like ask like 3 questions and then put together the list in like an hour and be done.
And I know this because you're gonna like this way too much. But in 2014, I want to say, I was invited to a pre-screening of the Entourage movie.
Oh, hell yeah.
I went with my friend Grant. And after the screening, there was an interview with Doug Ellen, who's like the writer-director, main guy of Entourage. And
they did like a talk back?
Yeah, like a Q&A.
That's cool.
And then with him was the fucking music guy who picked the music, who was very clearly just his friend. That gave him this role.
It's like, yeah, this is my buddy Sandstorm. He picked all the tracks.
And he's like, yeah. So people had very few questions for him. But he's like, yeah, like I just listen to music and then, I go, that's right for the movie. And like some of the music on the movie wasn't anything like deep that you couldn't, it was like fucking Jay-Z. It's like.
Yeah, I mean, it's Entourage. It's not like picking the music for like Titanic or something that you're trying to like evoke all these emotions.
I know. It seemed like such bull. I'm like, this isn't a real job. You're Doug's friend.
I want to get that job.
I know. I want that job too. So moving on, I don't have much else with specific regard to this song, honestly. But in doing my research, I came across an interview with SZA.
Okay.
And I'm excited to reveal to you and the listeners that SZA mentioned that she loves Creed.
Yes.
Right? And the interviewer, whoever this asshole was, noted something like, oh, well, they're kind of cliche. She said, quote, I like Creed so much. Higher? Why are you hating on it? Have you ever felt more inspired and uplifted in your life? I'm in the car and I'm blasting Higher. I feel like it's a gospel song. The vocals are going crazy and it's also somehow slightly romantic. It just feels so fun because even if it's cliche, he's so fucking dead ass. I will be a Creed fan forever. Like if it started just on a whim in the shower, oh, let's play this. And then it became a week of Creed and Nickelback.
I newfound respect for SZA.
Yeah, well, I mean, that like lends some real credence because like SZA's an amazing vocalist.
Yeah.
So if she's like talking about Creed and Scott, like with this serious, like he's got some vocal range, like holy shit.
I mean, dude, look, I think we all know at this point, Creed was one of those bands that, and I think it's maybe over now, but for a while they became popular to make fun of and hate. And it's like, I don't know, man. It's nice to hear another musician, another artist like her say that. It's cool.
Yeah, it was cool.
It's really fucking cool.
It had nothing to do with this song, but I had to share it.
I love it.
Especially because we already covered Higher. And then the closest thing I kind of found about this song, and it's about B-sides in general, is that in an interview with Mark Tremonti when he was asked about B-sides and whether or not they'll ever make an appearance at a live show, he wrote, we don't ever write songs like, let's just write some crappy songs since we need an extra one. We're always trying to write the best songs we can. And then we have to decide, well, maybe these two songs fill the same space dynamically on this record. Let's just make one of those and put it and make it a B-side. But a lot of times I like the songs every bit as much as the others. So that just kind of was interesting to hear about, because we don't get much, obviously, like in books like Sinner's Creed, where the artists reflect on their music. They're usually not covering the bonus tracks that you have to dig up on the internet from some Russian website. They're really only covering the big ones.
Did you just bring up Mother Russia again?
Censored.
Okay.
So yeah, that's all I have with regard to background facts.
Okay. Yeah, I wasn't expecting there to be a lot. I mean,
No.
I did the research on the first bonus track, and I think we talked mostly about content from songmeanings.com or .net or
And the
whatever.
WWE.
Yeah, and then wrestling's fascination with Young Grow Old.
There's another wrestling connection in this one, though, with The Rock.
Oh, yeah.
There's always wrestling.
Huh. I mean, that makes sense for like that era of,
The
I guess at that
demographic,
time
too.
it was the WWF
Yeah.
and maybe WCW was
Yeah.
around then, but like they were into the like,
NWO.
they wanted like the rock.
Yeah.
A lot of rock soundtrack to their
Probably like a lot of like
shows and intro
preteen
music.
boys as well, being like, this song kicks ass.
Song fucking kicks balls,
Suck
man.
it, suck
Yeah, suck it, mom.
With that, I'm happy to just dive into the lyrics if you're
happy.
down.
I'd be happy to do that.
You'd
too.
be happy?
Yeah.
All right, let's be happy together.
Okay.
Whoa, I didn't mean to yell, but sometimes I get beside myself. And oh, I didn't mean to rush you, but time keeps pushing so much. Oh, time keeps pushing so much.
First of all, this first verse just feels like fluff, to be honest. It feels
Yeah, a
like
little
he's
bit.
saying like, hey, get ready to listen to what I'm about to sing about.
Well, having the first line of a song be whoa is like kind of weird.
Well, yeah, it feels like he's just letting us know from the jump that whatever he's about to sing about, he has strong feelings about.
There you go.
Like it gets him in his feels. He has strong thoughts, which is probably good because you probably don't want to write songs about things you don't really have passion or opinions on.
Yeah.
I think he's just saying like it's urgent that I sing about this right now. But again, like I don't get much meaning from this. This whole first verse feels just like get ready to listen to the real words that I'm going to sing after this.
Yes, I generally agree. I think when I just think I didn't mean to yell, there's that image of being taken over by emotion and acting irrationally just out of emotion. Like sometimes you're in a fight and you yell and you're like, oh, I didn't really mean to yell. It just came out of me. And I think he's alluding to the fact that this emotion and that's causing him to act out is coming from time that's pushing him. And I'm not sure what time pushing him means. I don't think it's time pressure to like get ready for a double date. But it could be that.
It could be a double
It could
date,
be
a
like
really
they're
big
running
double
late
date.
and he's yelling and being like, I don't want to rush you to do your makeup, but like hurry up.
Yeah, we have a reservation at Chili's.
I think it's just, you don't need a reservation for Chili's.
But they take them, don't they?
Let's find out.
Don't they?
Do you want to go there tonight instead of where we're going for our friend's party?
We have a friend's birthday dinner tonight. We can't change the restaurant because he picked it.
Well, it's his, yeah, I guess it's his birthday, but if we vote, he's got to respect the vote.
You do have to always respect a vote. I
Respect
just
the
feel like
vote.
that'd be a dick move to overrule him.
But it's Chili's.
Yeah, but he wants like Korean barbecue.
All right, we're off track.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
okay.
I think the main thing is he's saying like external pressures are things that can affect our emotions and our actions.
See, I didn't even read into it that deeply. I literally think of the whole first verse as fluff. And
Okay.
the time stuff is just like, he's like, I want to tell you about this right now.
I don't think that's wrong.
It fully could have started with the second verse.
Well, yeah, I think maybe the verse and the second verse and the chorus might inform it a little more.
I also might think that because I do interpret the rest of the song pretty deeply and
Okay.
specifically. So I might be skewed in talking about this first verse.
Fucking skewed. Your eyes stare at me in the dark, and I hope those eyes don't steal my freedom. My freedom.
The first question I asked, and these were kind of like stream of consciousness notes when I was going through this actually for the first time, was how is someone staring at him if it's dark? But he feels like someone is watching him, someone who would have access to him at all times. Then I did some thinking.
Okay, I think.
Okay. Oh, and to finish that off, he's scared that whoever is watching him is going to negatively affect his life / limit what he can do. then I started thinking that having access to him in the dark, which does not necessarily mean literally, it could mean just like someone who knows about the far reaches of his life, knows more depth of him than most people would. Or it could mean that it's someone he associates with like a dark, negative energy. And that's ultimately what I decided on.
Okay.
Because it's that combined with him feeling like this person is stealing his freedom leads me to believe that this is another song, another reference to his upbringing / his stepdad.
Okay.
So to me, this whole thing is like, it's his stepdad watching him, staring at him. And his relationship with his stepdad is well documented, that it was not good. And that he feels like his stepdad was stifling him in some way. And that's what the stealing my freedom line represents.
Interesting.
Thanks.
I had a really different perspective.
That's okay. That's why we're here. That's
and
why
I
we're
think
here.
it's super interesting. I don't know, but for some, like at the beginning of this song, I read a lot of like love and emotion into it, which is why I think he feels so sort of guilty in that first verse for maybe, acting out in a way that he didn't want to. So your eyes stare at me at the dark just made me think of like someone that you love really piercing through the darkness and looking at him expectantly. So whether that's like in the darkness of your bedroom or like in your house or anywhere, I don't know. I just feel like there's something powerful about the imagery of eyes and staring at you. I just kind of read it as like him giving into that love and accepting it is beautiful, but it also comes with its restrictions. Like I think when you commit to someone, whether that's like a partner or like even a child, like you have to give up a part of yourself in a way. I mean, like you're still yourself, but you have to give up freedom. You can't just go and like have a kid and then like go golf the back nine with your boys on a Tuesday.
Yeah, you can. Saturdays are for the boys.
Saturdays are for
the boys.
I specifically said Tuesday.
Yeah, but Saturdays
are for the boys.
Tuesdays are admittedly for your children if you have them. Okay?
Yes. But my point is that like that love comes with attachments.
Okay, but then how do you reconcile? I like this take on it because I like when we have wildly different ones too. Like I feel like last week we were pretty lockstep on everything. But how do you reconcile the line "Don't steal my freedom" with that like versus okay, I know that I'm sacrificing some of my freedoms.
I think he's on he's on the edge deciding whether or not to like really fully give himself to something. So I think he's sort of asking the person that he loves, like, I want to give this all to you, but don't take away who I am.
Okay.
So, I don't know. That's just what I read. It's probably wrong because I'm dumb.
Wait, I thought I was the dumb one.
I think this song is really vague.
I think it's very clear.
Okay.
And I think I'm right.
You could be.
I might be right.
Okay, well, we're not quite in lockstep here, but let's just ignore it and go on to the next verse.
Yeah, fuck it, man.
Oh, if I didn't give it all, when I stood, you made me crawl. And oh, if you've never heard the song, then I could still hide down behind the wall. And he repeats that last line.
I think he's saying that, like, he did give it all, but is wondering aloud if this person that he's singing to or about would have treated him differently had he like been less, had he minimized himself, had he tried to conform to, I'm just gonna keep saying his stepdad because that's how I interpret it.
Okay.
How if he had conformed more to how his stepdad wanted him to be, he would have gone through less pain with him because he would have been like just compliant. And then I think he's saying like this person stunted his growth. Like I took this literally to mean like the line of, if you'd never heard the song, to me, this is about like his stepdad finding out about or knowing about Scott's like love and passion for music and obsession with music and wanting to play music and write music and like discouraging him from doing that.
Mm-hmm.
And I think he's saying like, if his stepdad had never heard his music or known about his love of music, then, he could have kept pursuing his passion like with full force if his stepdad like wasn't even in the picture. But instead, his stepdad made him feel small. So like, when I stood, you made me crawl. Like that's someone who's like, hey, no, stay in your place, like stay in your lane. And when he says, then I could still hide down behind the wall. Like if you'd never heard the song, then I could still hide down behind the wall. Like I think he's saying I could have stayed under the radar. My dad would have not been as big of a dick to me. Stepdad would not have been as harsh on me if I had just not pursued music because he didn't like it. I could have kind of stayed hidden to him in a sense.
Gotcha.
I'm really smart.
It's an interesting take. I'm trying to think like how, like, if my idea of what I kind of talked about earlier really is reconciled with this verse. I think this verse is trickier even than the last two. When he says, when I stood, you made me crawl. I don't know. I just thought about like being weak in the knees with that.
That's interesting because you're interpreting it as like positive and like voluntary things, which is valid.
Yeah, I don't know. Like for some reason, I really just feel like a sense of love in this song, and I could be misreading it, and like the emotion is different, but I just feel like there's that longing in there.
Okay.
And if you've never heard this song, then I could still hide behind the wall. So I think in this way, to me, it was like this song is sort of that confession of love and his, debating whether or not to dive in head first. But, if the person he's singing to that he loves doesn't hear the song, then it's like he can just not go in head first, hide behind the wall, and continue being like a free single person.
Okay.
So I don't know. Probably stupid.
At least one of us is stupid.
Yeah.
Maybe both of us.
I think both of us. I think this is probably one of the most difficult songs we've come across.
And this might be the song that we are like furthest apart on as far as our interpretation.
Yeah, we're really on different pages here.
Like not only interpretation, but like just the
emotion,
the seed of the whole song itself. Like we disagree on.
Yeah.
Yeah. Interesting.
We should fight after this.
Just so you guys know, we usually fight just a quick one. It's like usually 3 2-minute rounds.
Yeah.
After each episode.
But this one might be extended because we disagree so much.
Yeah. I hate you a lot right now.
I hate you too. So I think that's pretty much all the lyrics I have. I will say that in the second chorus, this isn't substantive, but Tremonti and Tremonti and Scart harmonize here a bit, and I thought it sounds really cool. And then there's also, I guess this probably lends credence to your theory. In the lyric video, I watched it because sometimes they have images that could maybe be telling. I don't know. You never know what they sneak in there, those sneaky little guys. But there's images of a house burning in the lyric video. And that just sort of makes me think of House on Fire, makes me think of what you're talking about.
Yeah. See, I didn't know about the lyric
conflict.
video.
We got to watch a lyric video, idiot.
I didn't know about it, but now I feel smart.
Well, you could be wrong.
No.
So that's it for the lyrics. I will say...
Wait, hold on.
Yeah.
Isn't there another section? The "Oh, my freedom, sad eyes, those eyes."
No, but I'm glad you brought that up, idiot.
Okay.
Because the lyric video confirms that he says "said eyes," not "sad eyes."
Wow. Okay.
So it's not really a unique lyric. He's just kind of repeating it.
Okay.
But yeah, at the end of it, it's more repetition of "your eyes stare at me in the dark. Hope they don't steal my freedom." Said eyes.
Well, that's too bad because I wrote down some thoughts about that.
Do you want to share them?
I just feel like that because it's not the normal chorus. It's similar words, but it's like because it says, "Oh, my freedom, said eyes, those eyes said don't steal my freedom."
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
To me, he's like lamenting the moment that he thought his stepdad was negatively affecting his life / his passion for music. I don't know. The "don't steal my freedom." Again, we're interpreting it way differently, but to me, this part just hammered home that like the person who's looking at him is a negative person who kind of lives to bring people down. I think we've all probably known or at least had interaction with someone like that.
I'm that guy in your life, I think. Yeah.
Like you're incapable of building yourself up without tearing other people down.
I've called you an idiot at least 6 times this very video.
That's you actually do not live like that in real life.
No, but it's fun for the podcast.
Like I've known people that do.
Yeah.
That, like their version of building themselves up is by chopping other people down.
So we call a bully.
Yeah. And I think to me this is just hammering that home and like the last part of said, "Don't steal my freedom." I think he's just saying like, "Stop messing with me."
Yeah.
Dad, stepdad, Steve,
Dr. Steve. Yeah, it's interesting. I'll ask this last question when it comes to the lyrics, but what do you think the title, how do you think that ties in with your theory?
I think it's like, don't give bad people real recognition.
Mm-hmm.
I think he titled it that because his stepdad will know the songs about him, but he probably did not want forever and ever to have a song in his catalog titled Steve.
That's fair.
Or Dear Stepdad. But I think it's a very pointed way to be like, dude, motherfucker, like, you know this song's about you.
Interesting.
But on the flip side, it would also work for someone that he really loved and cared about to like maybe not bring them the attention that would go with being the title of a Creed song.
Right.
Again, when this album came out, it was like one of the biggest bands in the world.
Yeah.
So it does fit with your theory too.
Yeah, my theory is just as good, idiot.
It's not just as good, but it fits if you shove it in a little harder.
Yeah, I think I don't know about the title because I do think it is a little wonky, but I just think it could be like a letter to anybody, falling in love with anybody. Was kind of my interpretation.
Yeah, I mean it works. I would actually, since we disagree so drastically on this one, I would actually we'll probably never know, but hopefully someday someone from the band knows about this podcast. Mm-hmm. I would really like to know what the song's about. And then we'll know who owes who a kick in the nuts.
Come out on the podcast. Yes. Yeah, that's a good bet. Yeah. If we ever get Scott on the podcast and he says one of us is more right than the other, then they get to kick that guy in the nuts.
Fair. And that will be one of our social clips.
Maybe flick our nipples or something. Less
no,
painful.
I think we gotta keep the stakes high. How about a slap in the face?
Yes, okay, we can do that.
Okay.
No rings.
Deal. No rings.
No rings.
Okay.
Are
we shaking on it?
For those not watching the video, we shook on it awkwardly.
Yep, it's a deal.
So my bad news for you is I don't have much in the way of the meaning of the song. Well, like last time, this was not touched on in Sinner's Creed, nor were there any interviews about it other than what I found for that Tremonti interview. But nothing that really indicates what the song's about other than songmeanings.com.
Oh, boy.
Where, if you're new, is a place where mostly 20 or so years ago, people wrote what they think the lyrics mean. Mm-hmm. So today we're going to first hear from Harbinger.
Yeah.
He was in last week's video as well.
Harbinger was in Young or Old.
23 years ago. Harbinger says, "This song is great. It's strong, meaningful, and has a mix of great beats. In the song, Scott Stapp seems to be speaking, I assume, to a loved one, maybe his wife, and apologizing for some kind of verbal conflict that they were involved in. He hopes that it won't lead to further conflicts because he loves her and would loose his freedom for her." He said,
guys.
But he doesn't want to. The song does a good job of fitting in the message with the changing melody. Sure.
Okay. Thanks, Harbinger.
I also have another quote from Undisturbed. Again, returning customer. 23 years ago. "This song is awesome. No doubt about that. It could be to the fans. Telling them, cud, C-U-D?
Oh, it could be to the
It could be to the fans. Telling them not to steal his freedom. Of course, he would be missing those days when he walked down the street with not everyone recognizing him. But when you gain something, you have to lose something as well. And this could also be about when sometimes you overrun someone. Just in anger, you hurt someone. And later, you realize did it wrong."
Okay. One of us is wrong about the meaning of this song, but not near as wrong as this is Undisturbed?
Yeah, it's Undisturbed.
Not near as wrong as Undisturbed is about this song.
I don't know what he was trying to say exactly.
He's saying that, like, it's part, like, growing with fame and grappling with fame, and that, like, the fans are the people who are staring at him in the dark, stealing his freedom and his inability to, like, exist in the world as a normal human, which, like, I get that sentiment and that process, but I don't think that's That's what this.
Well, Reed, you say that.
Scott, when you come on the pod, if Undisturbed is right about this song, you get to slap both of us in the face.
Or Harbinger.
Or Harbinger.
Well, it's funny you say that because I also ventured to another site that was called like scottstatfans.com or something.
Okay.
And Derek posted,
D-Man.
Many rumors surround this song, but many believe it was written by Scott for the fans, telling them not to, quote, steal his freedom by keeping their eyes, quote, staring at him in the dark. Very controversial, but it makes sense nonetheless. So I guess he's trying to say that like fans are looking at him beyond the walls of the concert in the dark in his own personal life, taking his freedom and making him a public object.
Okay, I like looking at some of the lyrics, I can actually like see that a little bit.
Yeah, maybe Undisturbed isn't so stupid.
But does that seem like this doesn't seem like a song that Scott would write? Like, are you really, you're at like the peak of your
not even yet
fame,
really.
Maybe not even, but like you're on your way up and you're already being like, oh man, our fucking fans are like stealing my free, like, I don't know.
Yeah, I get that.
That's a little far-fetched that they would write that, like, because really they probably wrote the bulk of this album in like 97 and 98. Probably 98. That just feels like a weird thing to be writing after like your first big album.
Yeah, I think so too. So and again, I feel love in the song. And that doesn't feel like that to me.
I don't feel love in it, but I don't feel
fair
that they're like chastising fans.
Nice use of chastising.
2 years into their ascent to superstardom.
Well, this is one that we really need Scott on the pod for.
We need to hear help, Scott. Or
please.
Mark. Anyone in the band, please.
Please. Well, Reed, that's it for anything I have about the song. I wanted to quickly talk about a bonus segment. I'll do it quickly so that we can get out of here. But we talked a lot about the formation of Creed. So now I want to talk about how they got their name.
Okay.
So they just added the final members of the band. And Scott described them at the time as 4 college guys who liked girls, beer, and weed.
Hell yeah.
That's you.
Let's go.
We had long hair and wore backwards baseball caps, flip-flops, and board shorts. I like that. I like that imagery a lot, so I wanted to say it. One night they were jamming, and Mark pulled out a newspaper clipping from his wallet that said something about the abduction of a naked toddler. He always thought it would be a great name for a band.
I wish they just named the band Abduction of a Naked Toddler.
Well, we'll get there, Reed.
Okay.
To avoid ruffling feathers at the time, they went out for their first gig at a club called Yanni's, and they called themselves Naked Toddler.
Okay.
The name didn't go over well. Shocking. Girls hated it.
Shocking.
And said it made them think of pedophilia. Scott said they had a point.
I just love that none of the guys, like, these are just like young bros who are like, oh, fuck, we didn't even think of that. Yeah, that's true. That's true. We just like the way the words sounded together, but you have a point. Okay.
That's funny you say that because I think of it as like 4 guys and one guy that's like kind of weird is like, how about naked toddler? And the other 3 just stare at each other being like, okay. Because they just don't want to make him mad because he's like the most talented person in the band. So they brainstormed more after that, and Scott recalls someone suggesting backbone, someone suggested spine, and then Brian suggested Maddox Creed, the name of an old band he had played in. Scott said to that, what if we just call ourselves Creed? The guys liked it. And according to Scott in Sinner's Creed, the book where all this information is coming from, Creed means something you believe in. I believe in the 4 of us. I believe in this band. Scott said he didn't have the slightest intention of introducing anything spiritual into our music via the name. Because some people think that with Creed and, living by a creed, religion, Jesus.
I don't think I've ever necessarily associated the name with religion. Like
I hadn't, but
religious themes in some songs, but like Creed is a mainstream enough word that people don't need to interpret it like that.
Especially after Assassin's Creed.
Wait, but so the name comes from one of the guy's former bands, essentially. Mm-hmm. I wonder if those guys are kind of pissed. Like, dude, he literally just like took half our name.
Yeah, he was in that band though.
That's if like,
and they sucked clearly. That's not fair, but
that's if like someone like left Third Eye Blind and then started a band called Eye Blind. And there'd be like, dude, Stephen Jenkins would be like, dude, what are you doing? You can't.
That does exist. It's really weird that you chose Third Eye
What do you
Blind.
mean it does exist?
But the two of the former guitarists, Kevin Cadigan and Tony Frinidelli, and maybe Aaron Salazar, like the bassist, I think, they have a band called XEB, like X Third Eye Blind members, and they play Third Eye Blind songs.
That's pretty fucked up.
Yeah. Because they all had really contentious exits of the band.
But I wonder if like the former Maddox Creed, who was it that was in Maddox Creed?
I think it was
Scott Phillips?
I think it was Brian Marshall.
Okay. I wonder if he had a contentious split from them.
I don't know.
But that's interesting. I actually did not know how the name came to be. I just assumed it was like a random.
Yeah.
I assume any band that's like a one-word name, that's like a regular use word, they just like kind of just picked it.
Quick, what'd your band name be? Pick word.
Skunks on a Tripod.
No, I thought you were going to do one word.
Oh, okay.
Skunks on a Tripod's kind of good, though.
Okay. If I had to pick a one-word band,
yeah,
it'd be like Euphorium.
Nice.
Like a house of euphoria, but it's not I don't think it's a real
like
word.
An emporium, euphorium.
Yeah, a euphorium.
Cool.
What would yours be? Go.
Turnstile. That's a band already. Fuck.
Wow.
Do it again.
Okay. Hey, if you had to pick a band name and it was one word, what would it be? Go.
Fard.
Fard? Like F-A-R-D?
Yeah.
Okay.
Are you telling me you don't like Fard?
No. When we started our band, you were not allowed to pick the name because I, on the spot, gave you two names. One was not one word, but I didn't know we were doing that yet. You gave me an existing band, Turnstile, and then Fard.
Okay, what about Syllabus? Oh, that sucks.
That's okay, but that makes people think of like
schoolwork,
negative associations.
Yeah.
Like, here's your syllabus, first day of class shit.
I know. All right,
you're bad at this.
Let's forget that and let's talk about our thoughts on the song.
What about like Super Strike?
That's cool. What about Lightning Punk?
Well, that's not one word.
Oh, sorry. What about Flamingo?
No.
Okay.
It's okay. We all have our strengths and weaknesses.
Next episode, we'll come back. I'll have some good ones.
Thank you.
Okay. So, Reed, I covered everything there is to cover. Do you want to talk about your score and song or me first?
Yeah.
Score on the song.
I'll go. Isn't that the order we usually go in?
I don't know.
I mean, it's a pretty dark and somber song to me. Of course, we might have wildly different scores just based on what we think it means.
Yeah.
To me, it is a very dark and somber song. I do think the chorus is pretty catchy. But this song kind of gives me like musical blue balls. Like I feel like it just like builds and builds, and it feels like it's building to something. And then for me at least, I never quite get the
payoff.
The payoff. Whether it's like through the lyrics themselves or just through like the oomph at which like Scott is prone to sing in some of these songs where he has very like intense feelings. Like it just never fully gets there for me.
I think I kind of felt that about the last song, weirdly.
Okay.
But I know what like feeling you're talking about.
Yeah. Blue balls.
Blue balls.
We know that feeling.
Yeah.
Huh.
I'll ask you in your final analysis, do you think it would fit on the record?
I think it could. I think it is fine without it. But I think it fits more like sonically maybe than Young Grow Old.
Yeah, I think so.
But I don't think it. I'm fine with it being a bonus track. The last thing I'll say about it before I give you my score is that I don't love the ending of the song.
Yeah, I don't like that either.
I don't like it's simultaneously doing the weird like the fade out thing, and then you get like the scratches.
I hate the scratching
of like the guitar like over it in the end. And whenever I hear that, whether it's true or not, my small brain always is like, oh, they didn't know how to end the song, so they just were like, oh, let's just drop some music down, then like just touch your guitar a little bit.
Hey, Mark, can you touch your guitar a little bit?
Guitar. So yeah, it's I don't hate the song. I like it. I'll say less than the first bonus track we covered, Young or Old, last episode. So my score for To Whom It May Concern. As a reminder, as always, we score these songs on a scale of 1 to 5. Yes. And I am going to give this song 2.5.
Interesting. Right in the middle.
Right down the middle.
It's funny. I think we just have sort of a different scorecard scaling process. Because for some reason, I think a 3 is like a good song, and anything below a 3 is a bad song.
See, I'm not saying this is a bad song.
I know. That's your scale. My scale's different.
Yeah.
My scale's the good scale.
Okay.
Yeah. There's some things I agree with in yours. I do like, I'll say my favorite part of this song is probably like the harmonizing that starts in the second chorus. I think that sounds really pretty. And I think Mark has a nice voice, and I think it complements Scott's well there. And I do feel like a lot of emotion in this song, and I kind of know what you mean about building up, but I think the payoff works for me. I really like the chorus in this one, and I sort of like the pleading of "Don't steal my freedom." I think that's something powerful. I don't have that much else to say. I think it's funny. I was listening to the song in preparation for today's episode, and my wife was sort of on the same page with me. This song sort of reminds me of My Sacrifice in a way. I don't know. Maybe it's the instrumentation and sort of the build up to it. But I think, as always, Tremonti delivers.
Yep.
And I think it's just like a nice song. I really wish I could be more profound with my analysis, but just the harmonizing, and it makes it really nice and easy listening, and kind of like just one that I could see myself putting on every once in a while.
And I will absolutely listen to this song again. It just doesn't fully do it for me. But like I said, I think the vocals are nice. The chorus is very catchy. For whatever reason, it's just not up there for me.
Yeah.
It's a good song.
And the last thing I'll say is I don't think it needs to be on the record. I think it could be, but I feel like Wash Away Those Years and Inside Us All sort of fill the space that this one would fill. So I think it would be kind of duplicative to put it on there. So with that said, I do like it a little bit more than the last song, Young or Old. I think it's just like a little more interesting and a little more unique sounding. So I'd give it like a 3.25.
Okay.
5 yes.
Okay. So
Just thinking about 3.5, but I just don't know if it quite reaches that high. But I do like it.
Okay. So you gave Young or Old a 3 for reference.
Yeah.
I gave that song a 3.75.
Mm-hmm.
So today you're coming in with a 3.25 for Andrew, and then for Reid a 2.5.
Yeah. And I do think, I don't want to get into spoiler territory, but I do think this is one of the better bonus tracks, in my humble opinion.
Yeah, that's stay humble, man, because your interpretation of the meaning was incorrect.
Is possibly very wrong.
It's possibly very
This
wrong.
is when we really need Scott's help for.
If anybody listening, SZA, if you're listening, SZA, or someone SZA adjacent is listening, like
SZA
literally,
adjacent. Kendrick Lamar, they did the Super Bowl together.
Yeah,
He's
Kendrick.
SZA adjacent.
Kendrick,
SZA adjacent is really hard to say.
If you know the meaning, if we've missed some resource that told us the meaning, let us know.
Let us please.
Please let us know. Our email is
myownpodcast@gmail.com.
he didn't stutter. It's myownpodcast@gmail.com.
And if there's anyone listening out there, send us something. Ask us a question. Engage.
Yeah.
We'll answer it on the pod.
We'll read your comments on the air the same way that we read comments from Undisturbed and Harbinger.
Yeah.
Doesn't that sound
They're
good?
currently the most famous podcast listeners.
Yep.
That we can't confirm if they listen.
Yeah. Or if they're even alive, sadly.
Let's hope they are.
Over 2 decades ago.
Yeah, it was a while.
Yeah. They're probably listening, though.
Yeah, they're listening for sure. They're one of our Swedish listeners. Yeah. Oh, anyway, do you have anything else to say before we get up out of here?
I honestly don't. I'm just really ready to fight you because, again, we've butted heads on this episode more than any other one,
right.
I think.
No slapping yet, though.
No, I'm like right now I'm stuck behind a microphone.
Yeah.
But if I got up quickly, I would rip my headphones off and knock the microphone.
Don't do that.
So I don't want to do that, but I'm really ready to fight you. But I don't have anything else to say about the song.
Maybe next time we're back, Scott will be in the pod.
I hope so.
I hope so, too.
I hope so.
We got 1 week.
Okay.
Okay.
A lot of things can happen.
A lot of things can happen in a week. It's true.
Yep. World War II started in over the course of 1 week.
That's not comparable to this.
I'm just saying things happen fast.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, Reid, I think it's time we make our escape.
Let's go there.
For my own podcast, I'm Andrew Colin.
I'm Reid Fenlaw.
Goodbye.